Good morning, YouTube family. I am here in Dallas-Fort Worth, and I'm here for a few more hours. It's actually a beautiful morning out. They're decorating the tree in the square. I have a view of that, so I'll get out a little bit later. But I wanted to finish this three-part series on RV safety while traveling. And today I want to go over campground safety. But if you haven't watched the previous two episodes, I'll leave a link in the description below for you to click on, go back and watch those. You don't have to watch them in any order, but I think you'll find some of the information there useful and helpful. But today we want to talk about once you arrive at your destination, your resort, your campground, whatever destination you've gone to with your RV, we want to talk about safety at that destination. So I want to divide it up into how to navigate the campground roads, how to check your site, how to back in safely, your connecting and disconnecting, the time that you spend away from your campsite, a little bit about campfire safety. So first of all, let's talk about navigating your campground or resort, RV resort roads. Google Maps is wonderful. There is so much information on there that we used to not be able to gather. The onset of social media and the internet has created a wealth of information that's just at our fingertips. And I don't know if you know this, but Google Maps allows you to measure length. I mean, you can measure distances with a ruler that's built into Google Maps. And you can actually go in and measure the length of your campsite. It's a really useful tool when determining if you think you're going to fit in a particular site or not. And so you just pull up the campground map of whatever resort or campground you're going to be staying at, find the campsite that you're interested in, and then you open Google Maps in terrain view and count how many sites until you reach the one you want. So you'll be able to compare the map that you opened from the resort or the campground to Google Maps in the terrain view, and you'll see and you'll be able to count the number of sites so that you can find the exact site you want to measure. Then you zoom in, and you'll see the measure tool on Google Maps. You'll be able to measure the site, and you'll be able to measure the distance. It's pretty cool, actually. If you haven't done it, just try it and play around with it. If you haven't spent time with Google Maps, I'd encourage you to do so. It's a wealth of information, and it's especially handy for RVers. Things like the elevation, the terrain, distances, and everything is on there. And so it's really going to help you navigate the campground that you're staying at. And it's going to help you be able to see clearly and even measure corners and things like that where you'll be driving. And I've even measured roundabouts and turnarounds and stuff to make sure that I can turn with my RV. So check that out. It's a great tool. And in regards to campgrounds or resort destinations, once you arrive at this destination, do you know what the campground or RV resort layout is like? I think this will pertain more towards state or federal or national campgrounds, as they were built many years ago when RVs were much smaller. They didn't have slide outs, and so they were designed in a way that accommodated smaller campers. So it's a good idea to know if you're going to be able to navigate through the campground with your RV. Yes, you might be able to fit on paper in the site that you're wanting, but can you actually drive through the campground, make the corners, navigate the trees, overhead trees even, boulders? Can you actually make a turn within the campground? Does your destination have an easy out or a turnaround for you? These are all things to think about before you go. And in my preparation, I spent some time researching the campground layout, the roads, the sites, and evaluate the probability of a successful arrival and departure there. And hopefully this will eliminate any potential damage to my rig or someone else's. Also, as you're navigating through the campground, it's helpful to have your co-pilot get out and possibly even walk in front of you and make sure that you are navigating the road properly so that you're not going to damage your RV or someone else's. So you've made it through the campground, you've arrived at your site. Now's a perfect opportunity to make sure that you don't make a mistake that could damage your RV or tow vehicle. So get out and walk the site before pulling in. Just do this. I know sometimes when you're tired you don't want to do this, or it looks fine, but just get out and do this. If it's a back in sight, it's especially important that you do this. If you have a co-pilot, you can both determine the best area to place the RV, where your connections are going to be. I mean, if you have walkie-talkies, you can use your walkie-talkies. I use a cell phone, but sometimes that's limiting because I'm in an area where there's no cell phone service. So if you purchase walkies, you and your co-pilot can use them to communicate. And then don't worry about taking your time, even if you're blocking the road. I know it's a pressure we all feel when parking the RV, but take your time. Believe me, no one else is going to pay for any damage to your rig or someone else's. You're going to be the one paying for it. So, and think about it. If anyone is waiting for you, they're going to be having someone wait for them as well. So ignore the pressure. Just focus on your own site and backing in and setting up properly, and do this process right. One good rule I always use is to allow myself an easy or quick out at my campsite. In other words, my vehicle is parked in a position that if there were an emergency, I would be able to leave immediately by pulling straight out. And then just think about that moment. Think about how you're parked and if you have a quick and easy out in case there were an emergency. Just something to think about. So you've parked the RV. Once you've parked the RV, check the electric box before connecting your power. Use a power meter that will tell you if the pedestal is in an appropriate working order. And I can leave a link for you in the description below. If there are any signs at all of melting or burning or at the pedestal, don't connect and move on. This is going to protect your RV, but you and your loved ones from a fire. Other site setup items related to safety are as simple as making sure your tires are chalked, your rig is level, and even you're not parked under something like a dead tree or dead branches. Think about ways you might be able to create a safer environment in your setup process at your destination, and then practice it. So now you've decided to go exploring, you're going to leave your campsite for the day, you're going to enjoy the day away. Did you close your awning? Do so, otherwise a gust of wind might just take it away and you're going to come back to a huge catastrophe and a big expense. Those awnings are like sails, so even if it's not windy, just get in the habit of when you leave for a few hours, close the awning. Here's something else you might not have thought about, but did you shut off the water to the RV? If you're at a full hookup and you're connected to city water, did you shut off the water? Do so, because who knows, a water line might break and while you're gone, and you might come back to a flooded RV. RVs are just like homes, so if you turn off the water, you're going to prevent an accident from happening and coming back to a big mess and expense. I don't care how safe you feel in the campground or where you are, did you lock your RV? Did you blow out any candles? That's really important, that are burning inside. Even if you're taking the animals for a walk, the pets for a walk, you're just out for a bit, you just went to visit your neighbor, blow out the candle first if you're burning one inside. Did you leave a window cracked in case you have pets inside? And then just, think about these things. These are small things that you might do anyway, but if you haven't, maybe start thinking about these things and you'll come up with even more safety procedures which you can implement when you're leaving your RV. And then lastly, I'm going to mention campfire safety. It's a topic which you can find a wealth of information on via the internet, so do your research, be a smart and careful camper, and follow safe campfire practices, things like not setting up your campfire under the RV awning, of course, keeping a bucket handy, never leaving the fire unattended. All of those things will go a long way in making your camping experience that much safer. So I hope that these videos have caused you to think about your own safety when traveling. If you found the information useful, please consider sharing it with a friend, subscribe, and like this video as it helps my channel grow. It's me able to produce useful, informative, and hopefully fun content for you. But lastly, a quick question for you. Have you ever been traveling and ended up in an unsafe situation? What happened? What is your story about this? I'd love to hear it, and we can all learn from each other. So please share it in the comments below. Thanks for being here. Until I see you on the next video, enjoy your journey.